on to another important writing skill in your syllabus, analytical paragraph. Let's understand further what is analytical paragraph. Now, before we begin, let's understand what do you actually mean by the word analytical. Now, we have all heard analysis, right? What do you mean by analysis? You study some topic deeply, गहराई से समझना, that's what we say. It is to understand with depth. Now, this is the same thing here. You have a paragraph and you have to work on it, right? A lot of logical reasoning and you have to understand that. So, analytical plus paragraph is analytical paragraph. An analytical paragraph is a form of descriptive writing. See, the word descriptive writing means you have to describe, in which we need to analyze a graph, pie chart, outline, table, clue, data, or any kind of structure in text format. Now, you will be given any one of these, right? You have to write down in the text format. Now, this is your diagram way, it's given to you, but you have to describe it in text. The word limit of a suitable analytical paragraph is between 100 to 120 words. Please remember this. You better stick to the limit. What do I mean by the limit? 100 to 120 words. Kindly don't exceed the limits. You must use clear and respected language, as well as provide complete information about the chart in question. Now, what has been given to you in the chart, we will see in our illustrations. Whatever has been given to us, we need to make sure that we cover it from every angle and put it very respectively. Let's see how it is. What are the features? Now, an analytical paragraph describes the given graph, chart, outline, table, clue, data, or any kind of structure, right? We've understood that. Now, it should be short, simple, and informative. So, it should be containing the important points. All the important points that have been highlighted in your structure, in your diagram, you have to make sure that you put it up. Use a single tense all over the analytical paragraph. Kindly stick to this. If you are talking about some incidents, about some, births and deaths, you're talking in general, obviously, you will stick to the simple present tense, right? So, kindly make sure you don't move from present to past, past to future. Don't do that. It must mention the facts which are laid out by the chart. Now, whatever has been mentioned, the facts and figures in your diagram, you need to mention the same in your text. Make sure to mention the numbers and quantities properly. So, you have to see if it is this particular year, it is so many people, this particular year, so many people. You have to keep that in mind and give the correct figures. No personal statement or feedback should be added. You are not required to pass your comment, your feedback on anything. All you have to do is just look at the figure and put it in text. That's it. Your personal involvement not required. Now, there are different types of paragraphs. Now, one you have data-based. In this, some data is presented in the form of a pie chart, a bar graph, a line graph, or a table. You have to analyze the data, you have to read it, study it into depth, making comparisons and draw conclusions. You have to probably give some comparison that in this year if it was so much, in this year it is less. So that is, there is a comparison between the two, and then based on that you have to draw conclusions. Problem and solution based. Now, the second type of paragraph, here a problem is presented and you have to suggest a solution based on some logic. Your solution must be supported with arguments, reasons, and data. Now, you will be given a problem. A problem is presented, right? It is given to you. Now, what do you have to do? You have to suggest a solution, but you won't randomly suggest. Not MI. It's not like that. You have to base it on some logic, okay? Your solution must be supported with arguments, reasons, and data. So, be careful about it. Then you have process description based. In this, you have to analyze the information presented in the form of a flow chart, a diagram, a visual, or an infographic. Now here you have another process description based. Okay, this is another type of paragraph where you have to analyze that information. It is analytical paragraph. So obviously, as always, we have to get into the depth, right? Whatever has been presented in the form of any of these forms, we have to study it and put it into the text. By study, I mean you don't have to memorize, but yes, you have to understand it properly and then put your figures, facts and figures. Then you have information based. Now this has some information presented as input. You are required to process and understand the given information and then describe it in the form of a paragraph. Some information has been given to us as input. Again, we have to work on it, we have to process it, and then we have to describe it in the form of a paragraph. You also have a map-based paragraph. In this, a set of two maps is presented as an input with significant differences in a piece of land or a building plan showing some additions and alterations. You have to analyze these changes and summarize them in the form of a paragraph. Now again, here maps are going to be given to you. Two maps will be given to us, right, as an input. Now, what will the two maps, what difference will be there? There will be significant, very important differences in a piece of land or a building plan showing some additions and alterations. They must, now, but obviously they won't be the same. So you have to analyze, you have to work on it and then put it in the form of a paragraph. Moving further, what is the format? Now, every time, see, I understand this, but every time you are doing a creative writing, working on your writing skills, kindly remember your formats. Why? They are important. They fetch you marks. Yeah, they do fetch you marks. So please understand the format. Stick to the format. Yes. The analytical paragraph format is divided into three main sections. What are they? First is your introduction. The introduction is the first line of your analytical paragraph. It tells the reader the actual information. So it tells you what exactly are you going to talk about, the introduction. It should be written in 1 or 2 lines and briefly describe what the given diagram represents. You're not writing a letter, hey, hi, what's up, nothing of the sort. Okay, I mean, I'm just telling you, like, so we have to get to the introduction directly. We have to deal directly with the diagram. What the diagram is telling us, we have to bring that on the first line. Then what you have next is the main content, the body. It is the main part of your analytical paragraph. Mention all the important details of what the diagram is about. Now here you will bring in the whole thing, the chunk of information given. The body part should be written carefully, keeping the following points in mind. You will use the relevant figures, whatever figures have been given to us. Make comparisons. If 2 maps and 2 things have been given, we have to make comparisons between the different years there. Contrast and explain the trends. What are the different trends? Maybe in this year, the stylish pattern was this year it is this. There are a lot of, different changes, there are a lot of trends divided into sub-paragraphs if required. So all this will be cleared once we go through our illustrations. All these have been explained there. Talking of your conclusion. Now the third part, you had initially the introduction, you had the body, and finally you do the conclusion. The last section summarizes the diagram, giving overall analytical information. It is presented in short lines. Now that's your ending. You're giving the end part to it, the concluding part. So it is on a very small note and it summarizes the entire thing. Get the idea of diagrams in a proper way. Organize information well. State the correct facts and summarize properly. Now this is a summary of everything, what you're supposed to do. So get the idea of diagrams in a proper way, read them properly, spend a minute or two analyzing what exactly it is, which year, how much, what's the, is it more, is it less, all of it. Organize the information very well and then state the correct facts and then summarize it properly. This is how it's going to be.